Hi, I'm Marianne Clyde, and today we're going to talk to Mandi, who's been dealing with a special needs child for quite some time. So we're going to talk to her and find out where she's been going with her therapies and so forth. So Mandi, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So tell me, when did you start beginning to notice something was a little different with your child?
Well, my son is my second son, so I have an older boy.
Okay.
So I had something to compare to. So I think it was rather early that I had a gut feeling that he was just a little different.
Like before one? Or?
No, I'd say, maybe 18 months to two and a half. He was developing slower, but I started to see things like his motor skills. His fine motor skills were not developing as quickly as I had seen with my other son.
Yeah, so it's a little scary.
Yes, yeah, and even some of his gross motor skills. He was just a little awkward and did not move as freely.
So what did you do? Who did you go to initially for help?
Well, initially talked to, pediatrician and did not get a lot of answers. I just...
Did you get blown off, or did you just not get what you were looking for?
I was not getting what I was looking for.
Okay.
I got more of, let him develop and let's see how things go over time.
Okay.
No real straight answers.
Okay.
Started preschool, the 3-year-old program.
Okay.
And definitely that's, I really saw signs that he was not developing as quickly as other children.
Okay.
He was just, not as social. He was the child that kind of, would sit there and take everything in.
Yeah.
Well, he would play with other kids, but he was just a very observant, and I could see just processing things.
Okay.
So slower.
You had a gut instinct that something was different, and the pediatrician wasn't giving you what you were looking for. So,
Yes.
So what did you then do that got you what you needed?
I just started researching on my own.
Online?
Yes.
Reading?
Yeah. Just, things that were just kind of jumping out at me, and came to the realization that it was probably, the sensory stuff. So we started some sensory integration therapy.
With who? How did you find someone that you could work with?
Word of mouth.
Okay, friends. Okay.
And yes.
So you started talking about, I'm seeing this,
absolutely.
I'm worried about this, I'm concerned about this.
Very
and
much
friends
so.
started helping you.
And I did not get it from medical professionals, but more friends.
Okay.
And, people in the community.
I'm hearing that's kind of a pattern,
Yes.
from a lot of people, is the
Right.
supportive parents, particularly of special needs kids.
Right.
So what did your child actually get diagnosed with, and what age was he finally?
Okay, he was not diagnosed with anything until first grade.
Okay.
He went through preschool, he went through kindergarten, and he was still very, developing slower and processing slower. And it was pretty apparent, his processing.
Okay.
It was his first grade teacher, she kind of pointed it out, and she said, she pulled me aside one afternoon and she said, I love you, I love your son, and I just really think that he may be on the spectrum.
Okay.
And it kind of hit me, like somebody
Like a
just
sucker
punched me
punch.
in the
Yeah.
gut. But then, gosh, after that point, I just felt like I'm so thankful for this woman.
Right.
Because she came out and she, told me exactly what she thought, and it pushed me to, we did some neuropsych testing and,
Did she give you referrals, or did you have to find a neurologist?
No, I found them, through family and friends.
Okay.
I searched the doctor out.
And then his ultimate diagnosis was?
Oh my gosh, very extensive. He had some sensory integration issues, multiple learning differences. His speech, his language, his language disorder was the most prevalent, and processing, and his working memory is minimal. So in so many academic ways, he was just so far behind.
Okay.
But I think then that was affecting his social and
Okay.
And we saw behavior issues, and I mean, it all kind of just snowballed together
Yeah.
into one big
So,
mess.
so you and your family reacted in what kind of a way?
Oh my goodness, I took it on like it was, yes. I mean, that was my job to do
So you didn't
whatever
sit
I
around
could.
feeling sorry for yourself or
Oh,
for
no,
him.
no, no, no.
You just went ahead
Oh,
and
no.
Okay.
I did as much research as possible. I researched schools, I researched therapies, doctors, nutrition, everything. I mean, and we went down every single road trying to do what we could for him.
And how about, you said you had an older child as well. Do you have other children younger than
And
that?
a younger son.
Okay, so how did they respond to, because he's taken now all your focus.
He was taking most of my focus, but between my husband and myself, I mean, we stuck together and just said, you know, we can't focus solely on Andrew's needs because we've got the other two boys.
Right.
So, I mean, we, between the two of us,
You tag team.
we tag team is the perfect word.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that is really important to do, I think,
Absolutely.
because it includes the other two kids
right.
and makes you guys partners, because it can
Right.
be very difficult.
Oh, absolutely.
On a relationship.
Right.
and so
No, I
forth.
never felt like I was giving 100% to Andrew's needs.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
we always made a point to keep the other boys involved in their activities and their interests.
Okay, so how did you take care of yourself throughout this process?
You know, I started twice a week. I took, 2 hours a week to go to a Pilates class. And that
Awesome.
was my time where I would just truly not think about anything else.
Didn't take
I
your
mean,
phone?
Oh, no, nothing. No. It's,
So you did carve out time for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I had to.
Really, really important.
Yes. And I mean, if I went a week without those couple hours,
You noticed?
I noticed.
Okay.
Yeah, and it really made a big difference.
Okay, well, how old is Andrew now?
He is 17.
And are you working?
No.
Okay, so
No,
you
full-time
were
homemaker.
stay at home mom
Yes.
throughout all this, so you were able to give him all the time he
Yes.
needed. So what would your advice be to new parents coming into this, beginning to see little things that are different with their kids, starting to get a little tense and think, oh my gosh, what's going on? What would you say to them?
I would say don't be afraid. Don't sit back. I would approach it just full force and, see what you can do to, address some of their issues. There are plenty of people and specialists out there now that can help. Don't feel like you have to, don't close yourself off from help.
Don't isolate
because,
yourself.
Yes, because
Okay.
there are so many people
Okay.
willing to help.
Who were you most grateful to? Who was your biggest source, 2 or 3, your biggest sources of help and encouragement?
This one was the school that we found for Andrew. We did put him in a private school
Okay.
for children with learning differences.
Okay.
And I just felt like every single teacher there loved him almost as much as I do and really wanted to see him progress. And, they didn't see him as different. And
So what was it that made you decide not to mainstream him, not to put him in the public school and get an IEP there? What was it that said, no, I think I'm going to go to this school. It specializes in kids like Andrew.
I just only heard too many obstacles.
Okay.
And we're fortunate enough that we could place Andrew into a private school.
Okay.
And I'm so thankful for that.
Now, is this school a K through 12 school? Or
No,
is
it is K through 8th grade.
Okay. Okay. And then where did he go after that?
Then he went to another small college preparatory school.
Okay.
And and we chose the school for the small classes and just a smaller environment for him. And we found that was still too difficult academically.
Oh, okay.
It was just not the right choice.
Okay.
So that was 1 year, and then we've chose another school after that.
So you're constantly making adjustments.
Absolutely.
Watching, we'll try this, we'll talk about this, we'll
Yes.
figure out, doesn't work, so we're going to do this. So you're not so seared into one particular path.
No.
It sounds to me like you're really good at being flexible
Yes.
and taking in the information. It doesn't sound to me like you're shutting out any information, because
No.
this is what I believe, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm going to do, which,
Right,
you know,
right.
you're not rigid in that. You're
No.
open, accepting,
In fact,
looking for help,
Right.
looking
I
for
was
advice.
looking for help in every avenue, you know, that we could take. You know, as far as nutrition, we did the whole different diets and allergy tests, and you know, put
What
him
did you
on
do with
special-
the nutrition?
we had his blood work tested, and urine and hair, and
Okay.
just to see, because we could tell he was sensitive to foods.
Okay.
And it turned out he was very sensitive to dairy products.
Okay.
And to this day, he cannot have dairy products. It's
Okay.
not an allergy,
Okay.
but a very strong sensitivity.
Like a stomach upset or
and
something?
no, we see it in mood
Oh.
and behavior.
Okay.
And it comes, you know, if he'll have dairy, it comes 24 hours, I mean, almost to the 24-hour period.
What do you see?
Behavior. He becomes
Anxiety
very
or-
very angry, very aggressive.
Okay.
Outbursts. I mean, he's 17 now, and it's taken so many years for us to figure his triggers.
Yeah. Okay.
And the behaviors we'll see afterwards.
Okay.
But I can say now that, you know, we've have figured a lot out along the way.
Wow, how insightful for you. You know,
Yeah.
because I think a lot of parents think dairy or any kind of food might affect them physically. They don't realize that it actually affects them
mood.
in the whole
Mood and behavior
dynamic.
and I'm sure his gut was just upset and not feeling well, and it came out in behavior.
Okay. Wow.
So
that's really good for other parents to know
Yeah.
too. So what would your advice be to new parents? If we're to say, okay, I'm just beginning to feel this, and I'm nervous, and
relax.
Okay.
There's plenty of time to figure it out.
okay,
You know, I mentioned that we tried very many therapies and programs. I think at this point, after 17 years, I would maybe pull back and accept your child for who they are, and love those differences. And, you know, you can't take all of your time trying to fix your child, because it's a lifelong issue.
yeah. So it sounds like you're saying kind of embrace the moment, embrace your child the way he is.
Yes.
And work with that, not
Yes.
trying to fit him into some mold or
Yes, and
some preconceived way a child should be.
Right,
What
and
does a normal child look
I
like?
found myself trying to do that early on.
Okay.
The early years. So
that's-
trying
that's
all the
good
different
hindsight.
therapies, and absolutely
hindsight
yes.
wisdom.
And really, in just the past couple of years, it's almost like I've accepted, and I just kind of let things happen and what's good for him. I mean, there are so many people trying to help us. I let them help us, and just trust that.
Trust the process.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Mandi, thank you so much for taking time to
Oh,
share
you're
your
welcome.
expertise and experience
You're
with
welcome.
us.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. And remember, embrace the moment and embrace the gifts that your child offers you today, not trying to make him into something that he's not.